All right, welcome to the WrestleCord podcast. This is your host Ryan here with,
Cordial.
and it is March 4th, just about quarter of 11. We got finished watching Dynamite. What did you think of the show, Cordial?
It was pretty good.
I thought it was a pretty good show as well. A nice rainy evening here on the East Coast, and we're gonna go. This is gonna be a bit of a longer show today. We're gonna go over obviously our news topics. We're going to cover Dynamite as we always do. And we're going to also do, on this special occasion, the first night of the New Japan Cup, which happened for us early in the morning, about 4:30 a.m. here on the East Coast of the United States. And so, yeah, let's hop right into the news and not waste any time. It was reported earlier today by Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful that two prominent TNA wrestlers are, in fact, leaving the promotion, Mance Warner and Steph DeLander. This seems to be a dispute between them and TNA's medical staff over Steph DeLander returning to the ring after her neck injury. It looks like Steph DeLander has said that her surgeon says that she is ready to return to the ring, but TNA medical staff, from what we can glean, has indicated they will not let her return to the ring. And so it looks like that is a good reason for them to be parting ways right now.
Why would they do that?
I guess they feel that they don't want to be held liable if she isn't quite up to snuff in the ring, I would guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Also in some other news, former WWE United Kingdom champion Pete Dunne has been announced for the upcoming Josh Barnett Bloodsport 15 event on April 17 at the Horseshoe in Vegas. No word yet on who his opponent may be. He made his Bloodsport debut against Timothy Thatcher just last year. Of course, as of late, he is not the only WWE contracted wrestler to work with Josh Barnett's promotion, with Natalya Neidhart turning a new leaf, if you will, with her natty gimmick, more grounded sort of pit fighting type of gimmick that has actually carried over now into her WWE presentation. Also on April 14th, Ricochet, the AEW National Champion, will be heading over to Rahway, New Jersey for the WrestlePro promotion to defend that national championship against a former NXT talent in Sidney Akeem, who many of you will know as Reggie. It looks like he will be bringing the Demand Partners with him, Toa Leona and Bishop Khan, who have also been announced for the show. Again, that is April 4th in Rahway, New Jersey. I promised everyone earlier this week that I would give some insights on the first quarter earnings call for WWE. It looks like last year they made a $1.709 billion revenue increase. Or the revenue has increased to that. Now, it's revenue, not profits. And we also got to find out how much Saudi Arabia forked out for the rather lackluster Royal Rumble this year. That price tag being a staggering $55 million.
Jeez.
Of course, the winners there, Liv Morgan and Roman Reigns, have already punched their tickets to WrestleMania. Roman headlining with CM Punk for the World Heavyweight title. I think it'll be interesting, honestly, as we have WrestleMania next year in Saudi, considering they shelled out $55 million just for the Rumble. I'm thinking maybe upwards of $100 million for WrestleMania next year. It's going to be interesting.
It'll probably be a 2-night event. That's just the norm now? It'll just be a
That's
2-night
what
event?
it seems. It's what it's been for quite a few years now.
Yeah, that's going to be expensive.
Yeah, it's going to be a hefty price tag, but Saudi government very much willing to throw out a lot of money. As some people might have heard, their big neon projects sort of screeching to a halt as of late. Looks like they've spent already $50 billion on the line alone.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, and the estimates now, it looks like, are in the trillions. Of course, it's hard to get solid numbers on these things.
Yeah.
So, but back to the wrestling. I just wanted to end this by saying that as I actually set up my notes for New Japan for tonight's podcast, I watched the recently released YouTube documentary for Jeff Jarrett called The Jeff Jarrett Story, Heart of a Promoter. And I have to say, I do not recommend. This was pretty cheesy. It was pretty much an unadulterated love letter to Jarrett, produced by Jeff Jarrett. No, yes, for his whole My World sort of promotion that he does
Okay.
there. And basically, if you've ever lived through the Jeff Jarrett constantly TNA World Champion, then you kind of know what to expect here. It's all this gushing over him. It all came off very cringy, in my opinion. I don't hate Jeff Jarrett. I certainly hated those years in TNA. And I think he does have that promoter's son sort of complex where he always putting himself on top. I mean, if you want to check it out, it's 35 minutes of your life you will be wasting as far as I'm concerned. And that wraps it up for our news today. And we are going to jump right in to the deep water with the New Japan Cup here. So this week, the 2026 New Japan Cup began actually just today. This is going to be running from March 4th to the 21st. It's 24 competitors. We have 8 first-round matchups. 8 participants randomly chosen get buys right to the second round. So let's just run down real quick this list of the competitors and everything going on right now. So with our first round matches, we're going to have Yuya Uemura versus Great O'Khan and Aaron Wolf versus Don Fale. Now, those did happen today, so we'll be going over them in my review coming up here. Also taking place tomorrow is going to be Taishi versus Ren Narita, who is our never open weight champion, and also Phantasmo taking on Bolton Oleg. On the 6th, we have Jake Lee versus Yoshihashi and Oscar versus Cal Newman. We get a break on the 7th, and then we're going to return on the 8th with more first-round matches. You got Shota Umino versus Chase Owen and Yudo Ice versus Ryohei Oiwa. Sorry, some of these names are a mouthful, folks. And that'll close out our first-round matches. Then, of course, the lucky 8 guys who got buys for this are Zack Sabre Jr., Drella Maloney, Tomohiro Ishii, Hinari, Shingo Takagi, Ren Narita, Yujiro Takahashi, Hiroki Goto, and Hartley Jackson. And that's our lineup for this single elimination tournament. As I say, this is going to be going from the 4th to the 21st. Are you excited for this?
I'm excited. A lot of those wrestlers we actually got to see during the tournament, the G1 Climax over the summer. So I'm really excited.
Yes, you got introduced to a lot of these names.
Yes.
During that several month long G1 Climax tournament. So our first show happened early this morning here in the States. You weren't able to watch Cordial.
No.
I did catch the show. Pretty good. Lots of multi-man tag action. Got some previews for the upcoming tournament matchups. And then our 2 first-round matches headlining the show. Let's get right into with our pre-show bout that saw Tasai Takahara take on Tatsuya Matsumoto. These are 2 young lions in a nice hard-fought bout. It was Tatsuya picking up the submission win with a Boston Crab. Then to our main show, which starts out Shota Umino and Masatora Yasuda against House of Torture's Chase Owens and Yujiro Takahashi. 3 of those men are going to, as we just went over, be in this tournament, with the lone man out there being Masatora, who himself is a young lion. So this was a fun tag bout. We got a little preview of Chase Owens and Shota Umino's first round bout, which I believe is happening tomorrow night, if I am not... Nope, that is actually going to be happening on the 8th, so almost a week away from that. The House of Torture's Chase Owens at one point trying to use Yujiro's pimp stick, but Umino grabbed it, and for that he took a low blow. Eventually Yujiro was able to hit his pimp juice DDT on Yasuda and pick up the win. A nice little tag, not a whole bunch going on there. Chase Owens would take an opportunity here after the bell to go after Umino, soften him up for that first round encounter, as I said, on the 8th. From here, we got another tag bout with Jado and ELP teaming up against the strong openweight champion Bolton Oleg and the New Japan darling in Toru Yano. I know you like Toru Yano. We've seen him a whole bunch.
Yes.
Yeah, he loves to have fun in there. So.
Yes, he does.
And this was a fun match. Oleg showcasing his strength at one point, catching El Fantasma out of the air and hitting him with a big overhead release suplex. We got the typical antics from Toru Yano, taking off the turnbuckle pad. ELP got in on the act as well, tweaking Toro's nipples. So at the end, it would be Yano with a low blow on Jado, using that to initiate a roll-up and get the 1-2-3. A nice quick bout, a bit of fun. We got to see that some fun interaction between Bolton, Oleg, and ELP, who will battle in one of tomorrow's first-round matchups. Now we get into the Faction Wars with an 8-man tag match. Cal Newman, Jake Lee, Zane J, and Hinari of United Empire taking on Unbound Company's Daiki Naga, Shingo Takagi, Oscar, and one of your favorites, Drilla Maloney.
Nice.
Yes,
You're doing a good job with the names, by the way. That would be really hard for me.
Luckily for me, I'm pretty versed in a lot of them. It's funny when you're actually trying to spout them off real quick how easily you can get lost here. Of course, we see a bunch of our Cup competitors here with Hinari, Shingo, Drilla, who all have first-round buys. And then you got Jake Lee, who will take on Yoshihashi in his first-round challenge. And we get a preview of Cal Newman taking on Oscar. Obviously, as they sit on opposite sides of the ring here in this tag match. This was an extremely hard-hitting bout, really. These guys are really just going full force. You got a lot of hard hitters here with Oscar, Drilla, Shingo, Hinari. So this is a whole lot of back and forth. Drilla and Shingo looked great working together with a lot of tag team maneuvers. And it would end up with Maloney hitting the Drilla Killer to get the pin on Zane J. So great win. I'm sure you're happy to hear
Absolutely.
that Drilla picked up a win.
I love Drilla.
Right after the match, Oscar would grab a hold of Cal Newman and choke him out at ringside. So, like I said, they have a first-round match coming up soon in the tournament, so he's trying to get an upper hand here. Next, we got a 6-man tag team bout. Master Wato, Taishi, and Anma versus Dick Togo, Dayuki, and the never openweight champion, Ren Narita, who just won that title little less than a month ago from Aaron Wolf, who we'll see in one of our first-round main event matches here tonight as he takes on Don Fale. And I think that win by Ren Narita over Aaron Wolf was a bit of a surprise, as was Aaron Wolf's win at Wrestle Kingdom over Evil. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be interesting if we get to see that match get called back. We get to see those two wrestle, what that'll turn out to be. So a lot of what you would expect here with the House of Torture out there. You get a lot of underhanded tactics. Hama looking physically stiff as hell as always, but you can tell he's putting his whole heart into this. The guy just is beyond his years now. Does not move like he used to. It would be Taishi forcing Jada to tap out to get the win here. A fun little match. Not a whole lot to talk about. I would suggest checking it out, though. We'd get a huge 10-man tag match coming up. So lots of multi-man matches, as New Japan usually does when we do these tournament shows. This is going to be TMDK's Hartley Jackson, Robbie Eagle, Ryoi Oiwa, Kasai Fujita, and another one of your favorites, the leader of TMDK. You want to say
Zack Sabre Jr.
Yes. And they took on Taiji Ishimori, Yoda Ice, Robbie X, Gato, and the IWGP Heavyweight and Global Champion, Yota Tsuji.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
He's another one of my favorites.
Yes, he is. I know you enjoyed a lot of watching him win the...
Yes.
No, I'm sorry. That was... win the title at Wrestle Kingdom. I'm getting myself all confused here. So I'm stumbling over my words. What a great podcast we got going on tonight. So, of course, once again, a lot of first-round previews. We get Oya and Yudo Ice. But also we have Zach and Hartley, who have buys in the tournament. So we get to see them interact with some of their potential opponents going forward in the tournament. as the brackets start to work themselves out. I really like this match. There was a lot of frenetic action. We got to see some cool interactions between Yota Tsuji and Zack Sabre Jr. Robbie Eagles looked great. Robbie X looked great. Hartley Jackson, a real hard hitter out there as always. And at the end of it, it was in fact Hartley Jackson who would grab a hold of Gato's beard and do a sort of a beard ringer here, twist it around, to which the commentating team would say it was probably the most technical they've ever seen Hartley wrestle. I think they're pretty accurate with that one. Hartley would get the pin on Gato after a big Death Valley driver and bringing the win home for TMDK. A nice way to start their travels here in the first show of this tournament. And that will then take us to the first of our two first rounds. A lot of first there. First round matchups in the New Japan Cup. This is going to be Don Fale versus the judo champion Aaron Wolf. It's interesting putting Aaron Wolf in this, considering how inexperienced he is. This could be a long tournament for him. Of course, Don Fale, no stranger to the New Japan Cup, but he has in fact never gone past that second round.
Oh, okay.
So, a lot on line here as he's moving up in age. So Don Fale would pretty much dominate this entire bout. Pretty much the entire House of Torture would spend their time at ringside. Every time Aaron Wolf got thrown out, they'd start beating up on him as Don Fale distracted the ref. At one point, Toru Yano, who was sitting at ringside doing commentary, would get into a war of words with the Torturers, as I'm going to call them.
Nice.
I'm in the midst of all of this. Wolf would try to hit an angle slam, but he couldn't get Fale off. Fale shoves him into the ref, knocking the ref out of the ring. All of the House of Torture immediately descend on the ring, start attacking Aaron Wolf. However, Aaron Wolf would, in fact, clear house here, looking pretty impressive. Toru Yano at one point would try to stop the Torturers from bringing a table into the ring. He was very ineffective in that. Aaron Wolf would end up on top of the table. Don Fale climbing up to the middle rope. Aaron Wolf would, in fact, though, fight off of the table, grab a hold of it, and throw it into Don Fale's face, setting him up for that big angle slam. We get Toru Yano tosses the referee back in, and we get a 1, a 2, and the Torturers yank the referee out, stealing the win there away from Aaron Wolf. And then out of nowhere, Ren Narita hits the ring, belt to the head as the referee is down on the outside. Don Fale would capitalize, hit that big spike to the throat, and get the 3 count. So there you have it. Big Don, the first to move on in the New Japan Cup tournament. I think that's for the best. Get Aaron Wolf out of this tournament as soon as possible. Don Fale, who himself isn't even a great in-ring worker, really carried this entire match. It's really quite a disappointing showing, I will say, for Aaron Wolf. The guy looked gassed, and he wasn't even really doing much out there. So, that's going to lead to, on March 10th, next week, it's going to be now in the second round, Shingo Takagi taking on Don Fale. Hopefully, maybe, I don't like his chances, but Don Fale might just get by to the third round this year. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised because the House of Torture really loves to interfere with things like that. So they could secure the win for him.
That is very true. So let's cue your best Mark Henry impression here, because it is time for our main event. Another first round match. It's going to be Great Khan taking on one of the best young talents in New Japan right now, Yuya Uemura. The commentators kept talking about a poll they recently did, a fans poll, and they all the winner of that poll being Uemura for the 1-2 win in this tournament.
Okay.
So you got Great Khan would start out super aggressive. Yuya had a lot of trouble getting any real momentum during the first part of this bout. Eventually, he'd fight back, hook it in armbar, but Khan gets to the ropes. He has those long limbs. Yuya would follow up, working the arm some more. Khan would try for the claw, but couldn't sustain. They take it to the outside. Great Khan would throw Uemura out into the crowd. The commentators would say he'd throw him out like Darby's taxi driver. I figured you'd appreciate that line. Great Khan would go on to try and use a chair. Red Shoes would intercept it, but alas, Great Khan just grabs another chair and hits him with it. And I really hated this. Red Shoes grabs a chair, walks away. He's back to Great Khan. Great Khan grabs a chair, sort of jabs it into the midsection of Yuya. And then right as Red Shoes turn around, he then lifts up the chair, smacks him right across the back. In plain view of Red Shoes, of course, you really don't get DQs in New Japan. A personal gripe of mine with that whole scene. I just don't. If you're going to have DQs, then you should enforce them.
Yeah.
I think it's so funny when you get, which you saw enough in the previous match, the referee getting distracted. It's like, what's the point? They don't ever call DQs anyway. But alas, Great Khan would bring it back, would hop back into the ring, trying to get the count on Yuya. You would make it back in at the 19. Khan would stay on top of him. Eventually, we get some back and forth before Yuya is able to take control. Heads up to the top for that high fly flow. But Great Khan bails to the outside. Uemura changes tactics, hops down, runs over, does a tope over the top rope, taking Great Khan out. Brings it back in. Tries for the deadbolt, that big double arm suplex. Khan holds that by trying to take a chunk out of Uemura with a big bite. He hooks in that Imperial Claw, that variation of the Iron Claw. I guess not really variation, just sort of a renamed Iron Claw here. Brings Yuya down to the mat. Tries to get a pinfall here. Uemura kicks out. And he would eventually swing the momentum here, fighting out of the claw. He got a Kimura on Great Khan, and then again goes for that deadbolt suplex. Once again, Khan fights it off, pulling the hair this time. I guess he wasn't hungry. Khan grabs him with the claw, knocks him to his back about 3 times in a row, then goes for a pin. Yuya is still not done fighting, kicks out. Then fires up, hits a dragon suplex, goes for the high fly flow again, but once again, doesn't make it happen. He gets crotched by Great Khan on that top rope. Khan pulls him off that top rope, nails a big Michinoku driver for a 2. He pulls him back up, goes for that eliminato, that claw sort of slam, like choke slam, but with the big claw over the face. It gets reversed. The deadbolt double arm trap suplex. Yuya finally heads up and actually can hit the high fly flow this time. Gets the pin. 1, 2, 3 for the win. So there you have it. Yuya Uemura and Don Fale moving on the second round on this first night of the New Japan Cup. So Uemura is going to face Drill Maloney on the 10th as well in that second round. I think this was a good show, a fun start to the tournament. I wouldn't have booked it any differently. I think Fale and Uemura moving on is the right choice here. Now, not having seen the show, Cordial, but getting to sit through this very hastily thrown together recap. Well, what did you think?
It sounds like it was probably a lot of fun. I'm excited to see more of it, honestly, or I guess watch it since I didn't get to watch this first one. But it sounds like it's going to be really good. I love so many of the competitors that are in it. And I really enjoyed watching the G1 Climax and seeing all these competitors in that. So I have a feeling I'm going to love that too.
Yeah, I mean, a great lineup for this year's tournament. And as there often is, I think a lot of fun potential matchups. Already some great first round matchups set as we went over earlier. And so we're going to get our second night tomorrow on the East Coast here. It's going to be like 4:30 in the morning.
Ooh,
so if you're a bunch of night owls out there, check it out. You can find that on newjapanworld.com. And I think it is now time for our main event.
Yes.
Let's head back to the States here with AEW Dynamite for March 4th from El Paso, Texas.
Yep.
Do you want to start us out here?
Sure. So we basically just opened the show with a bunch of announcements of who was going to be in matches tonight.
A lot of hype. We're going to have tonight, as it was announced last week, the world title match, MJF defending against Kevin Knight. Of course, we're going to get the women's title match with Tekla versus Thunder Rosa, a Continental Eliminator, John Moxley versus Hechicero, and the dogs of Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors versus Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin. So yeah, quite a packed show, and that's not even speaking of the matches that we didn't get to hear about at the start of the show.
Right.
So we start out with a recap from the face-to-face last week between MJF and Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight heads out to the ring first, as you would expect. He's got Mike Bailey in tow. I have to say, MJF came out and they did that big sort of each man standing in the corner ring announcement. They don't always do for title matches, but we got that here for this one, and we would get that later on with the women's title match. So,
well, and I have to say, when MJF was coming out during his entrance, he spit his gum into the crowd. It was so gross.
Oh, he's such a classy guy.
I know. Second time, man. So disgusting.
Justin Roberts was wearing what I would say is the ugliest suit ever.
Right? I don't even know what that pattern was.
Looked like a blue doily.
That's a good way to explain it.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
A real cocky beginning to this match. Both guys trading arm drags, spouting off at the mouth. Not even 10 minutes into the show here, just less than, I think, about 7 minutes in. We already have the X feed taking up a nice chunk of our screen.
Yes.
So, those are always the most important things to see.
So big.
Yeah.
Just make them smaller if you want to do it.
Or just let's get rid of it.
Yes.
I'm very pro that. We had Kevin Knight really holding his own here. And really taking it to MJF for a lot of this match. He would go for right early on for that UFO splash, which MJF was able to get out of the way of, and then start to take control from there. He would do that, very gentlemanly. I'm not sure what they call it, the crotch to the face.
Yeah, like
a
thrust with his
I think he
pelvis.
calls it the brisk.
Okay.
Yeah.
So disrespectful.
Yeah, it is. We had Kevin Knight really favoring his ribs here, as MJF kept hitting those knees to the gut, those real Boilermakers. And MJF just keeps working the ribs. Eventually, Kevin Knight would reverse the Heat Seeker that MJF was looking to end it early, and then hit his own big DDT. And Kevin's really selling these ribs here. I'm not sure if he was legitimately hurt.
Yeah.
Or if that was just a great job on his part.
Yeah, he looked like he was really struggling to do some of his moves.
Struggling to breathe, too.
Yeah.
Just laying on the mat, just struggling to get those breaths out, which if you've had any sort of rib injury, you know exactly what that's like. There's a series of near-fall exchanges here. At one point, Kevin would get MJF to the outside, and he would do this insane diving over the top rope clothesline. And he cleared that rope by, 10 feet. He was so high in the air, it was wild.
He's such an acrobat. He does such a great job with those moves.
His athleticism is really amazing. And such a young guy has such a great future in wrestling. Well, let's hope.
Yeah.
A few more of those moves and he might not. They'd eventually fight back in. Kevin once again goes to the UFO, but gets cut off by Max on the top rope. Maxwell would go for the superplex. Kevin fights back, knocks MJF backwards. He sort of gets caught in that tree of woe there. Kevin would run across the apron, climb up to the next rope, and hit a big coast to coast.
That was so awesome. I've honestly never seen that move done before, so that was kind of exciting.
I've never seen it in that tree of woe position. That was pretty interesting, pretty innovative offense there. He would follow that up going for the UFO again, and he hits it this time, but in the midst of this melee, it looked like MJF sort of kicked Bryce into the ropes.
Oh.
Knocking him a little senseless.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It looked like... Okay.
It didn't come off very well.
It did not. It didn't look like it really even connected, so I don't know if Bryce was just trying to get out of the way and ended up hitting the ropes, which kind of, I guess, hurting himself.
Yeah. I mean, he would stay out for a minute there as Kevin Knight goes for the cover. Eventually getting back into it, we get the 1, the 2, and predictably MJF would get the kick out.
Yeah.
That would have been quite a night had we seen a new champion right then and there. Kevin Knight tries to follow that up again with another UFO. This time, MJF is able to get the knees up, and that looked sick. And of course, with the ribs being hurt here,
Yeah.
this was
I'm sure that did not feel good.
yeah, this was a big blow to Kevin Knight's chances. And MJF would end it right there with the Heat Seeker and the 1, 2, 3. He's really leaning on that Heat Seeker now.
Is.
We've seen a lot of different sort of ideas that MJF has had for finishing matches a long time, mostly doing that Salt of the Earth Fujiwara armbar. But now it's pretty much he won the title with the Heat Seeker and has defended it at least twice now using that Heat Seeker to finish it off. So right after the match, MJF tosses Bryce out of the ring, puts on his Dynamite ring, and then goes to hit Kevin Knight with it. But alas, Hangman Page comes out to put an end to that.
He distracts MJF, so that allows Bailey to come up from
behind. Yes. Mike Bailey heads out, and from Mike Bailey hops into the ring from behind. As you might remember, I said he was out there with Kevin Knight during this matchup. He would get his own exact some revenge on MJF here with a nice kick, knocking MJF out. And then we go to commercial with MJF sort of toppled over there on the floor looking pretty distraught.
Yeah.
Over getting knocked around by Mike Bailey, somebody he calls a punk. So as we come back from commercial here, we get Orange Cassidy heading to the ring. Unfortunately, no Roddy poster on his Titantron graphic this week. That's a bit of a disappointment, I have to say.
Maybe they found him.
Did they? I have not heard the news.
I haven't heard.
I guess somebody got their $15 gift card
I guess so.
to wear. I'm still not sure. So this is going to be our match that we talked about earlier in the intro. Our Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin teaming up to take on the Dogs of Clark Connors and Gabe Kidd. Now this fight immediately began in the entranceway. Our Orange and Darby out first. As the Dogs came out, they pounced on them. They fought throughout the entranceway. No bell yet. Kid at one point drags the steps over to the guardrail right by commentary. Doesn't immediately capitalize on whatever thought he has there. They continue to fight around ringside. Kid eventually pulls Orange Cassidy up to the top of the ring steps there. Has actually got him in a chancery, sort of choking him with Orange just dangling in midair there off the edge of the stairs. But it looked like maybe Gabe Kidd was going to go for a powerbomb here. Orange would fight him off, push him off the steel steps, and then boom, out of nowhere, as we get Clark Connors running up the steps, spearing Orange Cassidy over the guardrail, through the timekeeper's table, and that looked sick. And
it did.
It was a really well shot, because you couldn't even see Clark Connors in the shot, though he was pretty much running up those stairs, spearing Orange Cassidy.
And that was the point that we finally got the bell.
Yeah. They'd eventually it would. I think it was Kid and Darby make it into the ring. We get the bell here.
The Dogs are at one point double teaming Darby while the medical staff is still checking on Cassidy, because at that point he was still down.
Yep.
Which was crazy.
Yep.
It seemed like he got really hurt.
Yeah, and as Darby and Kid are fighting in the ring, Connors would continue to go after Orange on the outside, slamming him into the guardrail. So it looks like there's still a little bit of fight left in Orange, but Connor was trying to take it out of him. Kid super aggressive here. Darby does what he does best in these matches, taking quite a beating. A lot of choking in the corner. And Kid at one point here, this was crazy. Kid sits Darby up on the top rope and then just shoves him backwards. Darby does this tumble to the outside.
Oh my gosh, it was so wicked looking.
Yeah, he hit the back of his neck, hit
right on the apron.
Right on the apron, and it looked like right there he broke his neck. If it wasn't Darby Allin, I would have thought this match would have been over.
I don't know how that didn't knock him out, honestly. He landed so hard.
For all you know, it could have.
Probably,
God only knows. I mean, recently in a Chris Van Fleet interview, Darby was talking about how he was ready to go to a show when he was having massive headaches, went to the hospital and realized he had cranial bleeding. So this guy is kind of a danger to himself here.
Yeah. Well, he loves the sport.
Darby would make it back into the ring, and there was just a I'm sorry here. Clark Connors would actually yank off his belt right after this. Would go to use it on Darby. Darby would grab it from him and then wrap it around his legs and use it to trip him.
Oh no, no. Actually, Connor took his belt off, but Paul turned around and stepped in, and he took it. Darby actually took his own belt off and put it around Connor's feet and tripped him right as Paul turns right back around.
Oh,
So,
there we go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for correcting me
That's
here.
okay.
Trying to jot down notes as you write these shows can really take you out of it for a few moments. You can miss a couple of things. That's why we got 2 of us on it at any one time. There's always somebody watching. Darby would take this opportunity to get the hot tag to Orange. Orange would come in, clear house before eventually being cut off with some double team from Gabe Kidd and Connors. He would, though, fight back, get a stun dog. Darby would run in and hit a sunset flip bomb and then do a big coffin drop to the outside, catching both guys. Mm-hmm. Connors would make his way back in, hit with the orange punch for the win. So there we go. You got Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy picking up the win here.
That was a massive
And then Shillelagh comes into play here. Yes, you heard that right, folks. A Shillelagh. Dave Finlay from New Japan making his debut here on this show, giving some assistance to the dogs. I wonder if he's going to become a new dog.
Oh, maybe. I'm
to
so
go
excited.
along with these old dogs.
I am so excited for David Finlay. I really like him.
Oh, really? I did
do.
not know you were such a Dave Finlay fan.
I very much enjoyed watching him in the G1. So
I was very much a big fan of his father, Fit Finlay. Many people know him from WCW and, of course, his run in WWE, where he had a leprechaun and days I'd rather not remember.
Okay. That sounds interesting.
It's that's a word for it. So we go from here to a backstage segment. We got Bandito Andrade with Renee Young in the middle. Mm-hmm. Bandito would tell Andrade how he is such a fan of his. He spent a lot of time watching him. Andrade, as cocky as ever, mocks him, suggesting that he doesn't know if he wants to fight him or take a selfie, a show you love.
Yes.
From there, we come back to the ring. We get a women's tag match. The Brawling Birds taking on the Inspiration. We heard this match announced last week. So that's Casey Lee and Jessie McKay making their AEW television in-ring debut. During the Inspiration's entrance, they jumped back to a little pre-taped promo where they suggest that the Brawling Birds don't have the balls, which I would suggest they probably don't as well, and that they should step up. And,
yes.
And as they said they don't have the balls, they did this sort of arm dangling.
Yes,
motion.
which it was kind of cut off, so you couldn't exactly see what they were doing. But I mean, I guess it was just like
tried to make it a little
suggestion.
TV friendly.
Yeah. It was a little odd.
So once Inspiration get into the ring and their music finishes up, they request that their music gets restarted.
Like, what's going on? Come on, put it back on.
Which it does. The Brawling Birds are having none of this. They hop into the ring. Jamie Hayter, Alex Windsor on the attack. We get the bell immediately. And we get some quick tag team maneuvers. As this is happening, a giant all-in graphic appears in the dead center of the bottom of the screen. It was so large, it was cutting off what was actually happening in the ring. I could almost not tell at all what was going on.
I think it was like the bottom third of the screen. It was so insane.
It was a lot of real estate.
I don't know who is in charge of this, but y'all need to get your shit together because this is ridiculous.
There's no screen big enough to fix that problem.
Exactly.
The Birds are firmly in control of this thing the whole time. Whole tons of double team maneuvers. I don't think there was a tag this whole match.
No.
All 4 women in the ring. The Birds would... I wasn't sure what was happening here, but the Birds grabbed Casey Lee, picked her up. Boom, the 2 Birds finisher, that heart attack finisher, Casey Lee onto Jessie McKay. Both of the Brawling Birds cover both of the Inspiration for the 1, 2, 3, and they get the win just like that. Under 90 seconds. That was
probably one of the fastest ones I've ever seen.
Just a little over a minute.
That 2 Birds that they did at the end, that looked wicked. They did that so hard.
Yeah. Didn't look like any fun. I hate when they do these pinfalls with multiple people involved. I don't think that should be allowed. Anytime you see a pinfall, you see a two-person pinfall and you see a third person interject. Whether that person on the bottom shoulder actually gets up, the ref always stops the count. I guess it just goes on in this one. Of course, we never even really established who the legal women were in the match. So, interesting choice for a debut for the Inspiration. Not going too well for them.
No, it's not.
So from there, we went to a commercial. Then we come back with Hangman Page versus, I did not even catch this local count's name. I had meant to go back and look this up before we got on the air here tonight, and I failed to do that. So, but not much to talk about.
No.
Hangman bell rings. Hangman Page hits a big boot, jumps onto the apron, hits the buckshot lariat. 1, 2, 3. We're done here.
That was even faster than the Brawling Birds tag team.
It was. 2 quick matches right in a row.
Ooh.
I'm not sure about the idea of that booking, doing 2 super fast matches, one after the other.
Yeah.
But I guess the choice Tony went with. I wonder if this was a bit of a time issue. There's a lot going on in tonight's show.
Maybe.
And they needed maybe a little bit of that extra time. Of course, we still did go over tonight as we always seem to.
Yeah.
After the match, Adam Page would hop on the mic. He'd start talking about MJF, Revolution, Texas Death Match. Says in Texas Death he has no conscience. He said he'll rep, he'll tear at MJF and only let him lie when he's done with him. Calls MJF out to the ring. MJF comes out onto the stage, no music. Talks about whooping Kevin Knight's ass earlier in the evening. Asked if he should come down to the ring, do the same to Adam Page. But before we get a chance to see that, Fletcher, Mark Davis, and Okada jump Page from behind, lay him out in the middle of the ring.
They were just pummeling him.
Yeah. Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, jet speed, head out to make the save before any more damage can be done. Don Callis, we get that atrocious Don Callis music would play.
I just want to go back for 1 second because when Bailey and Knight come out, I thought it was really interesting that Knight's ribs were all bandaged up.
Oh, yes.
From earlier, I think from the match earlier in the night.
Still begging the question, is this a legitimate injury? Not real sure. I guess only time will tell. I have, it is just about 11:30 now here on the East Coast, and I've not heard any news on whether it's a legit injury. So, like I said, Mike Bailey, Kevin Knight, jet speed, making the save. Don Callis comes out, calls Bailey a puke, which just conjured up images of Bobby the Brain Heenan in my mind, who used to always refer to Hulk Hogan's little Hulksters as little pukesters.
And of course, when Don Callis comes
I'm
out,
sorry, that was not Bobby Heenan. I don't know why. That was Sergeant Slaughter who would call them little pukesters.
And of course, anytime we have Don Callis coming out on the mic, we almost always get the fuck Don Callis chants. That's always such a mouthful for me.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I'm stumbling over my words this whole time. Don Callis would reference what Jet Set Rodeo had said, I think on Collision, where they said they'll defend those titles any place, anytime. And he said that he just got done talking to Tony, and any place was there in El Paso, Texas. So our new main event for the evening is going to be for the Trios title. Jet Set Rodeo defending against Mark Davis, Kyle Fletcher, and Kazuchika Okada. So Mark Davis and Proto Okada, or you can say Aussie Open, and Okada, or as I'm going to call them for the sake of this evening, Proto Okada Open.
I like it.
Hopefully that one can catch on.
Yeah.
I think, like Fetch, that is not going to happen.
So I think it's really interesting because with Knight being in that really massive battle earlier in the evening and his ribs hurting, now he's got to go defend his title. So
doing
I wonder
double duty.
Yeah.
And also, even though it was a very short match, Hangman Page doing double duty.
Yeah. So I wonder how that's going to affect the match coming up.
Yeah.
One thing that Don Callis was saying during this was that he hates a greedy guy when he was talking to Kevin Knight and them about the titles, which I think is the height of being hypocritical because that is literally all he is trying to do is to
he
get
wants a CMLL title.
Yes. He's trying to catch them all like Pokemon.
Yep. He already has now the New Japan television title.
Mm-hmm.
He has what else does he have? What am I missing here?
Oh, TNT title.
Oh, the yes, and the international title.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got so many of them.
There's a few titles we're missing here. And now going after the trios title. Yeah. So they're really trying to fill up the coffers of the Don Callis family. We go from here to a backstage segment. We're in an office now. Mm-hmm. It is Renee Young and the Young Bucks. Renee Young Bucks. Huh, interesting. So FTR would pop in the door after that with Stokely showing up a bit late here. Mm-hmm. They would say when they beat the Bucks at Revolution, they can then call themselves the Undisputed Grace Tag Team. Bucks say it's more than just the belts now. It's personal after everything they did to their family. Yeah. You know, attacking their dad, attacking their brother.
And their kids.
Yes. FDR say they're leaving because the Bucks can't discuss this maturely enough. And then we see Brandon Cutler, who is apparently there with his stupid camera. Quite frankly, I don't know who isn't thinking this, but Brandon Cutler is clearly there because he is the Young Bucks buddy. I don't know why this guy has a job in AEW. I don't know what his job is. I don't know. He's a producer. If he trains people, I don't know. I mean, I remember watching Brandon Cutler back when he still had a full head of hair, but I didn't see him for years and years and years till he showed up in AEW early on.
And he did wrestle for a little while because I remember seeing him.
Oh yeah, he wrestled a whole bunch, doing that sort of D&D Dungeons and Dragon gimmick.
Yeah,
and we see him. We see him there now. We didn't see him there earlier. He's got a camera in hand, and the Young Bucks state mentioned their no contact clause. And say that doesn't extend to Brandon Cutler, and then they proceed to shove him to the ground.
That was actually FTR that said that.
Yeah, what did I say?
You said the Bucks, but
that's okay. That was FTR, yep.
Yes.
Yeah, it was one of them. So, with that, we are back out to the ring. We got Moxley and company heading out to the ring for the Continental Eliminator. He's going to take on Hechizero. Renee Young is at ringside. She does a bit of a soundbite about the Takeshita Moxley match coming up at Revolution. Hechizero heads out. We get not a whole ton to say about this match. I will say it was a good match, solid wrestling, a lot of back and forth. The crowd was really into it. We're getting on into the night now.
Yeah, it was very lively tonight.
It was very lively all night long, and no exceptions here. They really got into us towards the end, which would end up with Moxley going, and this was really back and forth almost the whole time. At one point, you would actually state that it was a bit boring.
Yeah, I wasn't super into it. It was a lot of back and forth. There were some things though that I did like about it that kind of stuck out to me. At one point, Hechicero used Mox's neck to hold himself on the apron and not actually fall off, which I thought was really interesting. Yep. And towards the end of the match, we saw Hechicero actually take his straps down, which I don't know that I've honestly ever seen him do that. I know the commentator said we hardly ever see that from him, so that was interesting. And at one point he did an interesting body scissors with the arm trapped and then rolled Mox around, which I guess with every rotation makes the grip tighter and tighter. So that's what the claim was from Excalibur. Yes, so that was interesting.
he would roll that into a near fall there.
Yes.
And you actually mentioned how Hechizero grabbed onto Mox's neck when he was kind of falling over the top rope to the outside. He'd actually hold him there in a choke, and then Mox would drag Hechizero back in with his feet still on the top rope and then drop him with a cutter. Honestly, that looked terrible. It looked like he was damn near going to break Hechizero's neck.
Yeah.
So this match would come to a conclusion with Mox hitting a curb stomp, which Hechizero was not having any of, as he immediately kneeled up, gave the double bird to Moxley, who hit him with a running knee to the face.
And also, not only just gave him the double bird, but also then said, F you.
Yeah, oh yeah. He said, pissed. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to make it a little more family-friendly, but...
Not tonight, folks. Right from there, he would get a running knee to the face, and then lift it up for the Death Rider for the 1, 2, 3. Another...
Eliminator.
Yeah, another challenger eliminated here by... John Moxley. I guess his next challenger is truly going to be Takeshita.
Yeah, that's going to be a good match.
And speaking of Takeshita, he heads out to the ring after the match. They do a bit of a stare down, and that was the end. We go Then right before we head to commercial break, we jump to the back real quick. We see Tekla warming up for her match with the Sisters of Sin in the background. Then we jump over to Thunder Rosa warming up in the back with Statlander in the background. Head to the commercial. After the commercial, we get Brody King coming out to the ring. Tony Schiavone says he's not sure why he's here. He doesn't look like he's wrestled for a what the filler matchup. I forget what they're calling it.
Yeah, there's a specific term that they were using for it, but
somebody out there knows.
yeah, it's like a fill-in match.
Yeah,
but he wasn't dressed for that, so they assumed he wasn't doing it.
Yeah,
but...
so Brody grabs the mic, heads to the ring, immediately starts calling out Swerve. States again he's the most dangerous man in AEW. Wants Swerve to come out so he can prove it. Instead of Swerve, we get Nana. Nana out on the stage. Asks Brody if he really, really wants Swerve out there. Mm-hmm. Brody says, yeah, he absolutely does, which, I mean, makes sense because he just asked for him.
Yeah.
And this whole time, Nana kept cackling.
I know, it was so funny.
It was so bizarre. Kept the ha, 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 ha.
It was so funny.
It was something. Then we get the most disappointing music in wrestling today playing. The replacement for sort of so beloved music.
Yes.
This music now stating that Swerve is the most dangerous man.
Interesting enough, Nana didn't dance to Swerve's music today.
No. I think Nana is done dancing.
Oh, no. I hope not.
You can't have your heels out there dancing. Everybody likes to dance, and you don't want that.
But that's so sad.
So with Brody there waiting for Swerve to come out, and he would get Swerve, but unfortunately for him, from behind with the chain.
Oh,
yeah, right to the back of the head.
Yeah, that was vicious.
Yeah, Swerve wasn't done there. He hits a house call on Brody. Then he sort of he had on the end of the chain a little
like a carabiner.
Yeah, a carabiner. So he wraps the chain around the ropes. Then hooks the carabiner into one of the lengths of the chain. Then takes the other end of the ropes, wraps it around other end of the chain, wraps it around Brody King's neck
twice.
Yeah, and then goes over to the apron and starts pulling, like choking. He would grab the mic there, basically suggesting he's chaining him up like a dog. Mm-hmm. Says he'll see Brody at Revolution. So calling him out for Revolution coming up on, I believe that is March 13th.
I did not write that one down. I think it's so. It's a Sunday.
No, maybe March 15th.
The 13th is Friday. It's 15th.
It's March 15th.
March 15th.
Bandito would run out, makes a save here, saving Brody from any more sort of lack of oxygen.
His face was so red.
His face was red. Yeah.
It was kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie. All I could think in my head was, "Oh my God, he's hanging Brody with the chain."
Yeah. We go to a little parking lot segment here with the Death Riders, as you would expect. We get to see Wheeler Yuta's head, not really the bald way you want it to.
No,
he's already got it growing back. He's got a bit of a military buzz going on.
I thought it was funny too that while he was talking, he tripped over his words.
Oh yeah, he was stumbling all over his words. At one point, Marina comes up, calls Tony a pussy.
Right.
Mox says no one will go as far as them. Tells Takeshita they'll see it all the way to the end at Revolution. So.
And then, as they turn around to leave, Yuta slapped Garcia's ass as they walked away. It was so weird. I don't know. I just found that odd.
So, a little something going on there at Death Riders camp. And now we get to what they're calling the first of a double main event, which is for the women's title. I really wish this would have been the main event.
Yeah.
But alas. So we got Thunder Rosa challenging Tekla. Stat comes out onto the entryway with Thunder, but doesn't accompany her to the ring. Actually, just heads to the back after that, just sort of making a stage appearance here. Same thing goes on with the Sisters of Sin and Tekla. Tekla looked great tonight. Her charisma, even just during her entrance, this girl knows exactly what to do. She knows exactly how to work. Mm-hmm. These fans just looked like $1 million. I don't understand. I've seen plenty of chatter online with people upset that Statlander lost the title. I don't know how you can look at Statlander's presentation, look at Tekla's presentation, and not be aware of that.
I don't
The better woman has the title.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Stat tries. Like, it's not for a lack of trying. She just doesn't. It's just not there. That's not something that you can teach.
No. And I
Tekla
mean, I
just
guess
has
it's
it for
something
days.
that you can grow into.
Yeah, but not to
But
the way
she is
not to
not.
the way Tekla has. Like
No.
Tekla just she reminds me so much of like Mariah May.
And Tekla, very young in the business, has a lot of years ahead of her, hopefully. So this match starts off. We get a bunch of jaw jacking.
Oh my god! And Thunder like bitch slapped her
Oh, yeah.
so hard.
Thunder,
Oh my gosh!
Thunder not taking that from Tekla.
No.
Starts throwing her from corner to corner. In control, just smacking her around. Eventually, Tekla gives up and bows to the outside.
That was funny.
Thunder Rosa, not allowing that to happen, takes the fight right outside to her. Jumps up at one point on the guardrail and hits Tekla with a crossbody block. When they head back inside, Rosa takes time to gloat, and she pays for it here. Yeah, Tekla, Thunder sort of leans to the ropes, and Tekla comes up from behind and nails her. They do, they head back to nails her, knocks her out of the ring. They do a bunch of back and forth on the outside. Thunder gets thrown really hard into the guardrail here. Tekla breaks, what is my nose? Oh, breaks the count here.
Which was really interesting.
That is
because she
interesting.
didn't really need to. She could have just won.
She's the champion.
Yeah.
She didn't need to win the title. She is the champion. She could have got back in the ring.
But honestly, I think she wants to win. I think she wants to prove to Rosa that she is the best, because that's what she's been saying. She is the future. They are the past.
Yes.
And because she was talking to specifically Rosa and Stat.
Yep.
So I think she, and also I think she just really wanted to beat the shit out of her.
I think it was on Collision. She called them the past of the women's division.
Yeah, something like that.
And back inside, Tekla would take firm control. A couple near falls. Rosa tries to fight back, but Tekla gets that tarantula choke on her. And sort of legs around the neck, and then she wraps around the ropes.
Yeah, that move always looks really crazy.
Yeah. Rosa, I know everybody loved Tajiri's variation of it. Tajiri, of course, his WWE run, ECW run, his Japan run, such a great competitor. Rosa would come back with a stunner here, then smashes her opponent in the corner with like sort of a running back butt thing splash.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Like some weird running coffin drop type of thing.
Yeah, it was.
They would fight. They'd eventually fight up on the top ropes. Tekla would get the best of it and hit a spider suplex. Then she drops down to the mat, does that Bray Wyatt back bend, flips over, hits a spear, near fall. Tekla goes for the curb stomp, misses. Rosa hits the Thunder Driver, doesn't get the 3. Rosa then goes for a clothesline. Tekla does a back bend, and Rosa slams into the corner. Then Tekla follows it up the spear. Then a curb stomp. She's not done there. She's another curb stomp for the win. Clean in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3 over Thunder Rosa. I thought this was a great, fast-paced, fun, hard-hitting match that really shows what the women's division has been missing for a while now. Of course, you have Tony, who's a great competitor, but there's been a lot of, I think really since the beginning of last year with Mariah May leaving, there's been sort of a dead spot in the women's division that Tekla
Almost
is
like
filling quite nicely. Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was a great match. This was probably my favorite match of the night, honestly.
It was an excellent match. After the matchup, we get the Sisters of Sin heading out to ringside to celebrate. This prompts Statlander to come out. Sisters are pretty much bringing on, I mean, as they would. This is a two women on one situation. And this gives the opportunity for Tekla in the ring to then attack Thunder Rosa some more, hits her with the belt from behind. This causes Statlander to completely freak out. She throws a couple security around, tries to get at Tekla, who bows from the ring. And right before we went to a backstage vignette here, you can hear Tekla saying, "This is the toxic era is now."
That was great.
Yeah, and like I said, from here we get a little vignette for Mile High Madness from on Collision. Then we get a little shit talking from the Demand. We then jump from there to Renee in the entryway introducing Tommaso Ciampa. Quite a bit of Renee tonight.
Yeah, there's been a lot of Renee tonight.
Yeah. Renee would ask, you've done so much since you've come here. What are you going to do to get back on top after you've lost the TNT title and all? Ciampa said the title was stolen from him. The title has been stolen from him, and Fletcher's gave it a makeover that he didn't consent to.
Yes.
I forget what he said. He said taking it from something
to Pinky.
Yeah,
it was something to Pinky. I don't remember what the first one was.
He would accuse Fletcher of hiding in tags and trios. Told him that once they run this match back, he's going to be champion once again. And then he capped that off by saying he's not here for instant classics, but to be the top guy. Now, that phrase sounds a bit familiar,
yes,
and
does.
We would see two guys who didn't take too kindly to that. FDR head out. They actually welcome Ciampa to AEW, say they've been friends for a long time. And they suggested the best way to be top guy is surround yourself with top guys. Mm-hmm. Ciampa said that he doesn't know what they mean by friends. He's hated them for 10 years, and he still certainly hates their guts now. Stokely would try to interject here, to which Ciampa would tell him to quiet down, the adults are talking. Then he says to FDR, I heard about the no contact clause that you signed with the Bucks. Well, we didn't sign such a clause. Then he would nail Dax right in the face.
Yeah, he did. It was so hard.
Even though it's a 2-on-1 situation, I guess 3 if you're going to call Stokely kicking from his chair, FTR did not retaliate. Mm-mm. In fact, Dax said, I'm not angry. I'll just see you at Collision.
Yeah.
So...
And then we pan down to Stokely holding the one belt, and I thought it was really interesting that this week he decided to jazz up his wheelchair a little bit. He's got pads on the arms, and they have some fringe on them, so that's a little interesting.
We'd jump to commercial break, and once we got back from that, we'd have Tony storming into one of the medical rooms where Orange is icing his ribs. Orange says something along the lines of Marina and Yuta want to battle. Well, we'll do it at Revolution, and we'll do it every week after that. So, looks like we're setting up for more of that tag team dynamic going on here. And then we'd now head to the ring again for our big main event. This is going to be Proto Okada Open. So, Kyle Fletcher, Kazuchika Okada, and Mark Davis taking on Jet Speed Rodeo for the Trios titles. This thing started out real hot and heavy. The guys pretty much started, immediately got the bell. They battled to the outside. We had Don Callis heading over to commentary, as he's wanting to do a lot recently. We had Davis at ringside, still favoring that right hand of his that he punched a few weeks ago in his Continental Eliminator match against Jon Moxley. Eventually, they'd make it back into the ring with Proto Okada Open in full control, doing some interchanging here, really working Bailey. Bailey tags in Hangman, who eventually clears the ring. Paige then tags back in Bailey, which I thought was interesting considering Bailey just got finished getting his ass kicked. But Bailey immediately tags in Kevin. They both jet speed do some double team work here on Fletcher, which then Hangman gets involved with. Everyone sort of gets in here, all 6 men. Fletcher would throw Kevin from the top rope of the guardrail at one point and sort of slow things back down. They'd get now the legal man Kevin Knight into the ring. Proto Okada would really just take over here and start isolating Kevin Knight in their corner of the ring. They work the ribs a lot, just targeting the bandages that Kevin Knight is still wearing. Okada, at one point, we get in there, and I thought he was going for a gut-wrench suplex, but instead he would just sort of dangle Kevin Knight there in that gut-wrench, just putting all that pressure on his ribs, yeah. And this was right after Mark Davis had done a big abdominal stretch, again, working the ribs. And I tell you, Mark Davis looked like a giant against
he
Kevin
really
Knight.
did. And while he was doing that abdominal stretch on him, he was also pushing his hand and his forearm into Knight's ribs. Yeah. Just to double down on the pain.
Yeah. But now with Okada, and Okada would eventually just sort of toss Knight down to the mat. Knight would fight back here. He would hit a running clothesline and then go for the tag, but Fletcher would run in from his end of the ring and knock both Page and Bailey off the apron, preventing that tag. Eventually, Fletcher would get tagged in, and right as Kevin was again going for another hot tag, this time, as Fletcher grabbed his foot, Kevin Knight was able to kick him back and get that tag, where he tags in Bailey, who hits a huge acai moonsault to Fletcher on the outside. This was wild. Bailey covers, but Davis breaks it up here. Bailey keeps going, does that big standing moonsault into the double knees. Looks vicious every time. He would tag Page and what do I got here? And Page would hit Davis with the Deadeye. Fletcher makes a save. Fletcher makes a save for Protocol to open here. We get Bailey and Fletcher in the ring. Bailey comes in to save Page here. He hits a poison run on Fletcher, taking him out of the situation. Page goes for a big clothesline on Mark Davis. Then he tags in Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight starts heading up to the top rope as Page jumps to the apron and sets up for that buckshot lariat on Mark Davis. But while he's there, who do we see? MJF at ringside,
right,
yanking Adam Page off. The referee was actually distracted on Protocol to open side of the ring at this point. He would nail Hangman with the big Dynamite ring, taking him out for the moment. Kevin dives off the top rope, but Mark Davis is able to duck under this. Okada hits the ring real quick, hits the Rainmaker, leaving Kevin Knight for Davis to pick up the scraps. Davis hits that ridiculously devastating looking pile driver for the win. Yes, folks, we have new Trios champion. Protocol to Open, and we're going to have to use that name going forward.
Protocol to
here.
Open. I like
now
that.
that they are the champs, are your new AEW Trios champions right here on Dynamite. We got MJF up on the top of the stage, watching, smirking, doing a little condescending clap, and
then
Page just looks incensed.
Yeah.
Don Callis looks more than proud of himself as Protocol to Open hold the belts up, and we hear right before the end of the show that it's been made official for Revolution. Swerve versus Brody King. I think that is going to be a hard-hitting battle.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
And just another exciting thing to add to Dynamite, which went over about 20 minutes here, and we're over the goal we try to reach here, which is about an hour, but actually a pretty jam-packed show here tonight.
It is. It very much was. I want to go back to just one thing really quick, because we had Don Callis on commentary during this match. At one point, he said there's a lot of hot dogging going on tonight. Do you have any idea what that means? Because that is a funny. It was funny to me.
I think a lot of gloating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, I think that's our show then for tonight.
Yeah. So let's end it. What did you think of Dynamite overall?
Dynamite overall, I thought it was a good show tonight. Honestly, even though we had some really quick matches, I actually really liked that.
Yeah, two really quick ones in a row.
Yeah. This has probably been, I don't think it's rated quite as high as some of our previous ones. For me, I would say probably a 7.5, but it was solid.
I think, honestly, this show flew by.
It really did.
Which I think is a testament to how fun of a show it was. A lot going on, a lot of story building to the future here, which I think as Tony has been doing quite a good job with as of late. I think we could have maybe done without maybe the FTR Young Bucks backstage segment. Not a lot going on there.
No,
but
just kind of reiterating their feud.
Yeah, but a fun little night of wrestling. We didn't get to see the faces we always do, which is nice. We got a little variety here, not just a Tony Storm show. And don't get me wrong, I love Tony Storm, but of course we saw Orange, who I know loves to. Yeah, he loves to be out there. I thought it was a great show, and like you said, that's going to bring us to the end of this, the 4th episode. Yeah, we're already there of WrestleCord podcast. Please check us out on YouTube / WrestleCord. Yeah. Well, on Facebook as well / WrestleCord. You can also catch us on Spotify, Apple
Podcasts, anywhere where you get your podcasts from.
Streaming. Yep. And We always welcome all the comments and feedback. Please hit us hard here. We love it. And if you want, you can actually contact us directly at WrestleCord26 at gmail.com. And thank you all for tuning in. Hope to see you next time.